Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Blue Thunder Pod, WWE Edition. I'm your host, Billy Sullivan. With me today, my dad's favorite podcast host, and she told me before the show she's going to try to bring back the jeans tucked into boots look. Erin Winkler.
Never. I still have nightmares about that.
Davey Boy.
Oh, man. The worst.
Davey Boy. Doing the Turnbuckle Time Machines is pretty fun, watching Davey Boy try to cut promos, because you realize, like, I didn't realize back then that he is the dumbest guy
I realized.
ever. Like, he's just the dumbest. Like, there's nothing behind his eyes. He gets like every promo that I have watched doing those those episodes, the Turnbuckle Time Machines. There's a point in every promo that Davey Boy cuts where the cold sweat starts, because he never knows where he's going when he starts the thing, and then he's like, oh,
which is exactly what you want on television.
Especially for one of your big stars. So we're talking about WWE Raw, emanating from the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. What'd you think of Raw this week?
It was good. It was just Raw. I mean, like, I've come to realize, like, it's just Raw. It's always just Raw. So, no, I did like it. It's super enjoyable. I mean,
this was an eventful one. It was an eventful Raw,
and it's gonna always be enjoyable to me. I mean, that's the nice thing. It's like you feel like I'm home again. Kind of.
I would say for the last year of WWE programming, every single episode outside of a couple real stinkers is the same. It's like there's some stuff that I think is super fun and some stuff that I think is the dumbest bullshit ever, and it makes me mad. And but both exist, especially on Raw, because it's 3 hours long.
There were some eye rolls that I had, but I also really enjoyed it.
There's no Nia Jax got drafted to SmackDown. It just makes me so happy. I don't have to fucking watch Nia Jax anymore.
The thing that I noticed, though, which now it might be really obvious to me, and it might hamper my enjoyment of Raw, and I watched it with my son.
There are so many things that would fit to what you just said for me. There's a list of 40 things.
He noticed it too, which was interesting because he's never watched any wrestling before. And we watched Raw before we watched Dynamite, so it was like his very first introduction to professional wrestling. But it's 3 hours long, and there's 3 matches.
Yep.
It's there was
barely any goddamn matches on the wrestling show.
What really pointed it out to me was there was a point, and it was kind of early on, but it was one of those things where somebody just comes out just to come out and talk.
Yeah.
And then somebody comes out and they argue with them.
So that's called a promo train. It's my fucking second most hated thing in all of wrestling.
When it ended, my son turned to me and he said, "Wait, who won that one?"
Yeah.
And I was like, it wasn't me.
None of them make any sense either. Yes. Promo trains, because a promo train pre-assumes that you knew that the other person was going to come out. How would you know that?
Right.
And then what often comes off of promo trains, which is my second most hated thing, is my first most hated thing that WWE does nonstop. AEW does not do these fucking impromptu matches where, we're going to book this match right now. Really? Because what was going to be your main event then? What did you went in without a plan? What was on the card?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a pretend sport. It's there should be a card. There should be there's not room for impromptu matches. I'm not an idiot. Stop treating me like one.
But I was once I kind of wish I didn't notice that, because now I feel like I'm going to be that's match number 3. So I guess this is it, because
you gotta start watching SmackDown a little bit just to watch Kevin Owens, because he's like I said, he's the Deadpool. He's the guy that notices all the WWE bullshit.
But the fact that my son noticed it immediately, it was kind of
there's almost no wrestling. There's almost no wrestling.
He goes, this is so long, and they didn't do a lot.
And now they've gotten to the point where the roster is very talented, and even though it's that WWE style don't love, but they're talented enough that the matches are good usually.
Yeah.
And they just don't put enough of them on.
And I really enjoy watching it.
And they also, the other thing that you will note more and more as you watch, they almost do no just clean winner and loser on any TV. It's only on pay-per-views ever. And it's all about AEW. there's like one DQ a year. Like, yeah, like you have to be more clever and right around like a guy losing when like make sure he doesn't lose heat by losing a match, but like wins and losses are supposed to matter. And like none of that.
Oh.
There's no like number one contenders or whatever. You could just go into an office and be like, I hate your fucking stupid haircut, you flat earther AJ Styles. I want to challenge you for the US title. And then you get to have that match.
The other thing that I noticed immediately, and it really irritated me, and it's more the broadcast, the censoring that they do.
That,
oh my gosh, so bad.
Midway through my notes, it says Netflix cannot get her fast enough. They're going to Netflix in January. Every time anybody, and holy shit is a chant that has like reverberated through wrestling shows for 25 years.
Right.
And they bleep out every shit. And it becomes absolutely unwatchable.
It is.
It feels like you're having a stroke.
And I was thinking, I'm like watching it and I'm thinking, okay, USA, I like grew up
they can say cunt on
USA Up All Night back 30
you can say,
years ago.
You can say and technically show anything on basic cable. Like, why are you bleeping
South Park
shit? Yeah.
Nuts stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, and then it was just
outside of pornography.
Takes you so out of it because the crowd is part of it. And so when you bleep that out.
Yeah. So they also pump in crowd stuff too, which people call it the hair dryer because it sounds like a hair dryer when they're doing. But like, yeah, the cutting the holy shit. Like it ruins entire segments.
It does. That's what I paid attention to. I didn't matter what was happening
because you can't not. It like grabs your attention. So they need to fix that. Like
when they try to put Goodfellas on like AMC or something, and you're like, what?
Especially when they've improved their like production values in so many ways on the show, particularly too. They did some like set pieces that were awesome looking and camera work and stuff, and then they do that like half-assed edit of holy shit, and I'm like, I can't watch this. I have to mute it because it's gonna give me an aneurysm.
It was so incredibly distracting, but you know, hopefully, like you said, when it moves over to Netflix, that is a thing of the past, and I don't have to worry about it anymore because it was awful.
You got to see special needs Jey Uso.
I did. Oh my god! Yeet. No.
Yeet. Like, so yeet, as far as I knew, it meant to throw.
Yes.
Like
and
he said. Okay, so like
the young kids have moved on from yeet too.
Yeah, it was a Vine thing. Like it was big on Vine.
We're into Skibbity and Riz now.
It was a decade ago. It was 10 years ago. But it doesn't matter because he's not even using it in any context. He just says yeet all the time.
Yeah.
He called himself Mr. Mun Yeet in the bank. And I texted my friends, the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
Mr. Mun Yeet in the bank.
I have yeet in my notes because it was
Uso's,
just so bad.
Like his catchphrases, I don't know what any of them mean. He yeet, day one-ish is their other one that they say. And I'm like, I have no idea what that means. Day one-ish, Oos. And then they call everybody Oos. They started because it's two twin brothers, the Usos, and they would call each other Oos, which fine.
Okay,
the Usos.
yeah.
Then they started using Oos like some black people use the N-word in like social things.
Or like cuz or something.
Yeah, or cuz or bra or whatever. Like, but they're calling everybody Oos. And Oos is not a thing that you call everybody.
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
Yeah, but like, I like Jey Uso, even though he can't wrestle.
And
like,
I feel like the crowd
he's a bad wrestler. But he is like, the crowd fucking loves him.
Yeah, they were
love
really
him.
into all of it. And I was like, where am I? Because
he has the best dumb guy charisma ever. He's like, it's just super clear.
That's what
dumb
you should
guy
be saying,
riz.
not
It's dumb. It's specific dumb guy riz. Like in real life too, because they're like, I've seen videos of like the New Day. It's another team in WWE, like doing interviews with the Usos, like back and forth, and Jey Usos. Both Usos are like, it's like those man on the street interviews where like name 3 states and they can't.
Yeah.
Like that's how dumb he is. And he's got like, his haircut looks like a Floby did, and stupid light up glasses, and his whole thing is just doing this. And he like used to be able to wrestle okay, and then he just stopped trying because he realized that like
he didn't need to.
Yeah, he could just like talk shit, and because he sounds way more naturalistic than like 99% of the people in the company, he could just say a bunch of fucking gibberish and it'll all catch on because he's like, you're like favorite super dumb friend.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Well, that's what I was like. I've said it before. Sometimes that's like that matters more. You could be like the best technical wrestler, but if you don't have like the thing that the crowd latches onto, you're just gonna wither away.
Did you see him? So the show opened with it. They've been doing like a oneer in every Raw for the last like several months. You know, like a one long shots down.
Yeah.
It opened with one here following Jey Uso.
And he was like high-fiving
Did
people.
you see what happened like 1/10 of 1 second into the...
No, I don't.
He fucking bodied the shit out of some lady by accident and her phone went flying and he didn't even like acknowledge it. Yeah. She's like, boom, and she's like, ah, her phone goes out and she's like chasing after it and he just keeps going. And then he walked the wrong way down a hallway and like nobody followed him and he like realized like, oh shit, dog, yeet, and turned around and then went out into the right place. The cameraman like stopped, like he kept walking. The cameraman like, Jay, right here. He's so great. He's a dumbass. I hate him and I love him. But he really can talk. He like when he was doing his promo thing at the beginning of the show, he sounds like a person. But anybody in WWE that sounds like a person, I'm good with you. Yeah. Because 90% of them are like
awful.
Each and every one of you. And then there's people like Damian Priest who like talks really well backstage in segments, and then he goes out in the ring and he's like, each and every one of you. But Jey Uso's he's fun. And it is very difficult to do his arm thing. Like,
yeah, I was like, how long has he been doing this? Because it felt tired to me, and it was the first time I saw him.
Like, for me to explain the entire, again, I'm going to have to like grab a video package that explains the entire Bloodline saga, because to get to where we are with current Jey Uso.
I tried to research it a little and I gave up because there was so much
it's
going
great.
on.
Like it was super entertaining, and I know of things that I can send you that are like Super Eye Patch Wolf. If you've ever seen him, he's Irish dude. He's incredible YouTube creator. He does like a video game stuff, anime stuff, but he also happens to be like a big wrestling fan. Okay. So he did a big thing on Roman Reigns. I'll send you that one. It's really, really interesting. And it's amazing how much better Roman got when like they just let him go to Paul Heyman and do their own thing. Yeah. Like they stopped making him wear blue contact lenses and say shit like suffer and succotash. He became like the biggest badass in wrestling. It was amazing. And now he's like a great talker too. Yeah. And Moxley is the other great talker from the Shield. Unfortunately, it didn't. None of that wore off on Seth Rollins because he still fucking sucks dick. So you liked Jey Uso too?
Like I said,
in the way that I am describing it.
Yes. And now that I know kind of,
he's going to win the stupid Money in the Bank, which is going to piss me off because Drew needs to. He's awesome. He's like legitimately awesome. Yeah. And stupid Jey Uso is going to win it with his dumb moves that look soft because everyone like says yeet every time he talks. Yeet, yeet,
yeet. He's kind of got like the John Cena vibe.
He's like, he's so much dumber than John Cena.
But I mean, like, where he's like, you look at him and you're like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
And then the crowd loves him though. And like
early John Cena, yes. Because eventually they hated him. Or half the people hated him. But like early like Thugonomics. Yes. That's actually the Turnbuckle Time Machine that I was talking about was, John, if you're listening, by the way, I know you follow us on Twitter. He was like basic Thugonomics John Cena, and he was like acting like a toddler, walking around telling every woman to suck his dick in the backstage area, and he was a babyface. And I'm like, why do people cheer? And that kind of. And
now I get it. Now the John Cena of now I love, but like the back then I was like, what? Why? Why does everyone love this guy? And that's kind of the vibe I get with Jey Uso. It's like I was like, okay, they love him. I mean, maybe. Like, I don't know him, so I haven't seen what he can do yet. Yeah. But the crowd sure
I can tell you what he can do is he used to be a pretty good tag team wrestler 10 years ago, and then he stopped trying, and now his matches are all bad. He had a match against his brother at WrestleMania, and it was the one shitty match on the entire 2-night WrestleMania card. Got 1 star. It was trash.
Oh, but also I want to know, when is Chad Gable going to shave his head and do the full Kurt Angle?
My first note was, now that you mentioned it, Gable even has the just starting to recede hairline that Kurt had when he first started in the company. It's like just on the sides a little bit, and you can kind of see through.
It is amazing.
Like it's exactly the same.
I was a giant Kurt Angle fan for a very long time.
Well, he's one of the greatest of all time.
Oh, I love him. It's true. I love him.
It's damn true.
But it's like, now it's the second time I've seen this guy, and he is him. It is.
He is, and he's a super awesome wrestler like Kurt Angle too.
I actually had to look it up to see where Chad Gable's from, because I was kind of like
making sure it's not from Pittsburgh.
Yes, exactly. Because even his voice kind of sounded it. I was like, is it?
You know why?
Because I don't feel like it.
Because if you remember back in high school days, amateur wrestlers all kind of talk the same.
Yeah.
And they both talk like amateur wrestlers.
Yeah.
But I mean,
they're
both like.
It's amazing.
Olympians,
it's deja vu to its fullest.
He's awesome. I don't know what the fuck they're doing with him now, though.
Yeah.
He's got he has had a whole story with the Otis thing. That was a really interesting story.
Okay.
That they kind of wet farted away. Otis should have gotten his big moment because people loved him. He didn't really get that. It was just okay, now that's too much. You're too much of a bad guy. We're going to not be with you now. So that's a wet fart to end that. And he's still kind of doing that. And he also started a thing with the Creed brothers, which is an awesome tag team that it seemed like they were starting to maybe do a stable or something. And that still seems to kind of be going on. But now spooky shit is infiltrating him. He's in too many stories. I love Chad Gable, but
he's just filler.
I don't know what's going on. He's on. It's like at the end of last year, AEW had way too many injuries and all their stars were out, and MJF was on every segment.
Yeah,
that's what I feel like. Chad Gable is just out there on every. He's involved in every storyline.
Oh, and his gunshot wound to the head is totally healed now.
Yeah. I don't know why he's so scared. It didn't even slow him down. The attack. It Sami Zayn hurt him worse in their match. He was back in wrestling well. That's where also my note on Netflix cannot get here fast enough because the bleeping holy shit chance makes it absolutely unwatchable.
Yeah, it was so distractingly bad. I hated it.
The Wyatt Six, they continue to have really good set pieces, really cool looking a presentation.
Oh.
And I think they are taking awesome advantage of the new and improved cinematography they use on WWE.
I was going to ask.
The problem is, though, at some point, Dexter Lumis, who's one of those, he's got to get in the ring and wrestle. And he's dog shit.
Okay.
The Nikki Cross is great. She's the female.
Yeah.
Bo Dallas is Uncle Howdy. He's bang average, but he's got a lot of personality. His other characters were interesting too, so he's not bad.
Yeah.
Dexter Lumis sucks ass. He's Heidenreich, if you remember him. That was right when you were as you were probably starting to quit. Heidenreich was the guy that was Vince brought him in because he was a bodybuilder, and then he put him in Legion of Doom, made him an extra member of the most popular tag team in history, and he couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
That's what Dexter Lumis is. Eric Redbeard is awesome. So that'll be good. But Lumis is real bad.
Yeah. Well, now I kind of want to see.
And I always any spooky stuff in wrestling. As much as I loved Bray, and he's such a creative genius, there's a dead end that you hit every time you do a ghosty thing in wrestling because
you're trapped
you
in
need
it.
You need to go wrestle a match then. And then are you going to use your ghost powers? Are you, and they did that with Bray Wyatt a couple times where they had him use they projected a bunch of maggots onto the mat and stuff, and the Undertaker doing the stupid fucking lightning bullshit. There's a hard end to it. It's never good. You cannot write your way out of it. And this episode felt a little more spooky than crazy. I liked that they were leaning into the Slipknot House of a Thousand Corpses kind of thing. This was ooh, which looked very cool when they were spooking out Chad Gable.
Yeah, if you were we're just like Rob Zombie-ish, we're into that aesthetic, but we're not actually supernatural.
And it would make sense too. They're like Bo Dallas, and I liked last week his little interview with himself. This week they laid it on a little thick.
Yeah, they did.
And it would make sense though. Like he can go a couple ways. Like I'm my brother's legacy. That's what I'm going to do. And he was into this stuff. Or I lost it. I snapped because I lost my brother. So now I'm a fractured person. Like
with these types of things, it's always like less is more. If you keep it vague or like it's interesting, when you lay it on thick, it's like, oh, okay,
it starts the more word salad you throw out there, the more people realize like, oh, that doesn't mean anything. Yeah, you're just saying a bunch of nonsense.
When you're just kind of like, what's going on, and you just like come in for like a 30-second thing and then go back out and then you don't talk about it the rest of the show. It's like kind of fun and cool. It's
like Malachi Black. Have you seen him in AEW yet?
I don't believe so.
He's House of Black. They're like they're an awesome trio, but they are like have a metal aesthetic. But Malachi Black does kind of spooky stuff. They don't do any like real spooky stuff in AEW, but like he toes the line a little bit.
Yeah. And
I realized like 4 months ago that every time he cuts a promo, he sounds exactly like Mordecai from Cabin in the Woods. And so like every time now I can't take him seriously. I'm like, what's going to happen next, Morty?
I did want to say though, I do think it's really cool. And I don't know if it's like something that just happened organically, but when it got dark and all the creepy stuff started happening, when the whole crowd had like their flashlights out.
That's a Bray Wyatt thing. The Fireflies.
Yeah. I totally love that.
Way back to his first awesome gimmick as like the swamp cult leader guy. There's my Fireflies gonna follow me around.
I was like, that's really cool, and I like it.
And people do it as a tribute.
And it's even cooler then to me.
Yeah. Bray was great. Like he was underrated in the ring too. A lot of people said
it was like noticeably cool to me, and I thought, okay, I kind of like that.
His first gimmick was so amazing with the late John Huber too, an amazing dude that passed away. He went over to AEW and died unexpectedly of a weird heart thing. Eric Redbeard was him, John Huber, and Bray were the original Wyatt family, and that was when they were like Max Cady. He was like Max Cady from Cape Fear.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Like, because it wasn't spooky. It was spooky,
creepy in a like real way.
Might stab somebody, or kidnap your children or something. They were like Bayou guys, and like John Huber always have like a white undershirt that just brown stains down the front of it.
What is the stain? You don't know. You don't want to know.
Yeah, it's not whatever you think it is. It's worse. I need fucking Michael Cole to stop saying VHS player. He's older than me. It's a VCR. I understand when kids are like, because now that aesthetic is a big thing in horror, is the VHS look that's like all over YouTube. I understand when young kids are like VHS player. It was a VCR for the entirety of its existence.
Right. Also, I just kind of noticed like throughout, because like I came from 20 years ago, Michael Cole, him trying to be like this kind of the smarmy jerky. Yeah. I don't like it. I don't buy it. I don't want to hear it.
I don't like the announce.
I was like, shut up, Michael.
I don't like any announcers on WWE, basically.
Like anytime he would try to like align with the bad, I was like, come on. Like Jerry the King Lawler could do that stuff because he was like
a statutory rapist.
I mean, that was like his whole thing was.
I ever tell you like it took me up until like 2 years ago to realize why he would never acknowledge that Brian Christopher was his son. It was because then it would be much harder for him to like pick up high school chicks if they knew that he had a son that was like 35.
Yikes. No, but like he would always like, you could see him like glomming onto whoever was going to win.
Yes.
But like Michael Cole doing it, I was like, I don't like, that's not your thing. Don't do that.
I got a note about Corey Graves, the other guy. Corey Graves looks like he spent at least a large portion of his life putting in a sexual full court press on every chick in a lot of places like Delilah's. Like he,
I was like, who is this
Most
guy?
of his energy was
I looked him up and I saw that like
he's got the hand tattoos.
He's a wrestler, and I was like, okay.
One funny thing about he's bad, but
he's bad. He's very over the top, but not in a good way.
Somebody said that Corey Graves is CM Punk, but made entirely out of triangles. I loved that one. But yeah, he definitely was like Delilah's and the Sort, those kinds of bars, They like for people that are not from the Chicagoland area, like any hip bar that purports to have like the best jukebox in the city or whatever.
Where everyone
and a bunch of
drinks PBR so they can be cool,
100%.
and not because they actually like PBR.
Yeah. And
he looks like the kind of guy that has tattoos to have tattoos, not because he wanted those. Like to have the look.
Yeah, the hand one especially is like that's.
Yeah, exactly.
He was a wrestler at one point, but I think he like broke his neck or something.
I don't know. I Googled because I didn't know who he was, and then I just saw that former wrestler, and I was like, okay, that's why he's here.
I think he's an alright guy, but he looks like a predator. It's hard to get past that vibe. Yeah. Karrion Kross, what'd you think of him?
This is not a good thing for you who knows me. He reminded me of Test.
Yeah.
I was like,
Test is way better in the ring.
No.
I never thought of that comp, but yeah. Karrion Kross, he's like edgy Jey Uso because he can talk. He's got like a pretty good look.
Yeah.
And some charisma, and he's garbage in the ring.
Yeah.
He could be okay in the ring, but he does like a number of Will Ospreay moves. And if you're trying to do Will Ospreay moves,
you should do Will Ospreay.
you need to be awesome. You can't. He should be doing like Kane's moveset.
Yeah. Yeah. That was my note. Was like he reminds me of Test.
This is a Test. Test and his weird nipples.
His downward pointing nipples. I was not a fan of Test.
Super young.
I know. I feel bad talking bad about him now because I was not a fan.
You're not. No. At all. I think it's more disrespectful if you lie about shit like that.
Well, then I fucking hated Test.
Yeah, so. he was real boring.
Yeah, he was.
He did a good big boot.
Boring.
He had a good big boot. Well, that lines up with your don't like big guys.
It is and that's part of it too. Maybe I don't know.
I was thinking about it. I don't really like true giants either. What I like is what they call hosses, which is like the main event of this Raw. Like those two bigger guys or hosses. Like that's the size big guy I like. As Big E would have called it back in the day, big meaty men slapping meat. I like those kinds of matches. But like the two tall guys that can't really move around too well. Yeah, not great.
No, or you're like more like worried about their knees than anything.
Yeah. Do you know about what happened with Xavier Woods, New Day?
I don't.
Number of years back.
No, I don't.
So, do you know Saraya in AEW? She's the British girl with the real light skin, big giant fake boobs. She's in partnering with Harley Cameron, the girl that I said is like I thought was just eye candy, but it turns out she's a genius.
Yeah.
Saraya she was Paige back in the day in WWE. She was one of the first like legit female wrestlers, like her and AJ Lee.
Okay.
And back then, Xavier Woods dated her of the New Day.
Okay.
The segment coming up here, it's Xavier, so I figured good time to let you know about it. And there was a very explicit sex tape that made the rounds of Paige here, and Xavier Woods mid coitus and a number of different positions. That's not the worst or best part. So there were two cameras. One was a stationary camera, and the other one was being handheld recorded by a wrestler, a little creepo wrestler named Brad Maddox, who looked like a frat boy kind of thing. But when he was filming it, he was naked and he was like crouching, and his little boner was bouncing up and down the whole time he's filming it, and it is really unsettling. Like, I'd rather watch like ISIS beheading videos than Brad Maddox's little boner bouncing up and down ever again.
Oh, yikes.
Xavier Woods rules, though. He does. He's got a great Twitch stream too. He does stuff with Adam Cole, in Kenny Omega. They're all video game nerds. He's got a show called Up Up Down Down that's been on YouTube forever, and he's a great wrestler too. I wish he would have left WWE a long time ago, but yeah, I got to see him having sex with his girlfriend and Brad Maddox's weird little boner filming it.
I do have a note here, and I don't remember I said I liked how the pin happened at the end of the match, and I don't remember what happened.
Yeah, I don't either.
But I was like, oh, I like that. But also the arm stuff went on way too long and was weird. And
Good guys won.
like
it was some kind of yeah.
It was like really weird. Like I felt like something was supposed to be happening that wasn't happening because like the chick came into the ring.
Yeah, it was a miscommunication or something.
Weird stuff. It just was like
she stood there
time.
like she was like lording over a situation.
Like they were waiting for something to happen, and then he just kept doing the arm stuff.
Yeah.
And then they were like, even the announcers were like, "Oh, this is really hurting his arm." Like, it was so strange.
Like I like the work in the limb thing. Like Danielson does that all the time.
But it was done
way
weirdly.
too much, and like
it was really.
It was like he forgot what he was supposed to do, and he's like, "I'm just going to keep doing this thing because I don't remember."
My note says arm stuff weirdly long. It was just a strange thing. And then I also said Karrion Kross gets a major eye roll because I think I was just like, ugh.
He's super edgy. He's very edgelord.
He's test.
Corey Graves, I had a note. He said the phrase that I hate more than any other phrase. Definition of insanity, just doing the same thing every day and expecting different results. No, that's the definition of practice. Of course you expect different results because you do it until you get good at it. Freaking idiot. Whoever came up with that should be fired into the sea, along with everyone that does what chants at wrestling shows in 2024. The Authors of Pain, they're part of that Karrion Kross's deal.
Yeah.
Like, I like them as a tag team back in NXT, and I kind of like them as a tag team, but, like, I hate myself because it took me 6 years or whatever to realize that their name is Occam's Razor. It's like Acom and Razor. And I never realized it was Occam's Razor.
No.
Yeah. I'm like, why? How did I not? I guess I drank too much back in the day. Damian Priest popped up in a backstage segment, and it made me comment to my wrestling text thread that Damian Priest is going to have to make a hard decision on that hairline like in a matter of weeks, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's getting... it's getting like the bad guy from Kickboxer almost.
It is.
I
I'm new to him. I don't know. I kind of like him.
I like him backstage.
I like him.
I don't like him doing regular promos.
Yeah.
I like his acting and stuff though.
Yeah. Because it's like natural when he's talking.
He's just again, he's not a very good wrestler, but
yeah, and I don't know. You don't need enough. But like,
he's better than Karrion Kross. Like he's had good matches.
Okay.
Like he just had a pretty good match on a pay-per-view.
Okay.
But like he's never had a great match. He's never gonna have a great match.
Yeah. Okay.
He's kind of in between big guy too, so he does like big boot moves.
Yeah.
And choke slams, but
Yeah.
he's like 6'6". Like, but he's got a great voice, and like
Was he the
when
one?
he has a character to like sink his teeth into, he's pretty good at that too.
Was he the one that there was like a choke slam that I was like, how did they get that far off the ground?
Probably.
Yeah.
It's one of his finishers is called the South of Heaven choke slam.
It was like,
And it's very cool looking.
whoa.
He does have a
That's
really good
crazy.
finish.
Yeah.
I still am digging like the Liv Morgan, Dirty Dom, Finn Balor, like bullshit that they have, but it's going on too long.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you've only been watching 2 weeks, but I feel like it's been happening for 9 months straight, and we're not really progressing at this point.
Yeah.
Like at this point, I know that like Liv and Finn Balor are like together on this. They're gonna sabotage the New Day or whatever, and he's gonna win the belt. Like, we need to get to the
just make it happen already.
The problem, I think, is that they want to wait for Rhea Ripley to come back from her separated shoulder, which is going to be like in the Royal Rumble or something.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Just end this story and then make that a new story.
By the way, does the crowd chant "shave your mustache"?
Yeah, and they're fucking idiots because the best thing about him is his mustache.
I was like trying to figure out if that's what they were saying.
Like his redeeming quality is his stupid mustache.
Yeah, I don't know that I mean...
He's also getting like play from every hot chick in the company, so why would he want to change anything about the way he looks?
He's kind of got an odd look, but also I think it would be odder without the mustache.
He's completely useless except to be a little shit, and the mustache helps with the little shit thing.
Yeah.
But I actually think the mustache kind of looks. I think he looks better with it than he did without it.
Yeah.
Like legitimately looks better. So I don't know why people get all over him about the mustache. There's lots of mustaches right now. I have one right now myself.
Yeah,
they're in
that's the
style.
thing now.
Mustaches are unironically in fashion, and I love it because I get to be like Dad.
Yeah, you owe Dad an apology because we made fun of his 80s mustache.
Yeah, he still looks like a
When we look at pictures.
drug lord and of Latin descent and a couple of those.
Like Dad didn't grow any facial hair for like 40 years because we made fun of his mustache so much.
Yeah. And I also feel like I have an outsized memory of how long he had a mustache for.
Yeah.
Like it was probably like a month. And in my head, it was like 10 years.
Yeah, that's true.
Why is Finn Balor's accent still as thick as the Lucky Charms guy when he's been in America for 15 years? He has Ozzie Guillen syndrome, where like nothing can change his accent. He's been 100% in America for almost 2 decades now,
Yeah.
and like, and it hurts. It sounds like I need subtitles. I feel like I'm watching a Colin Farrell independent film or something every time he talks. Sheamus is like the same amount of time, and he talks like an American with like a little tiny Irish accent.
I actually looked Sheamus up to see if he was legit Irish because I was like,
he's Irish.
and it's like I was like, is he faking it? Because it's like
you
it's
lose
a very American,
most people lose their accent
it's a very
or get an American accent, except for Ozzie Guillen and Finn Balor. Zelina seems like she's improved some in the ring. I told you she was bad last week in ring because when you were talking about how great she was on the mic, which she is. Her match did not suck total ass.
No,
it wasn't great,
it was
but
good.
it was like solid. I don't know what the fuck's going on with the wig.
She clearly wears wig. Did they super glue it on her head though?
It's like whatever Sasha Banks used to do. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
But Sasha Banks's wig was not like a character from what's the princess from Adventure Time. Like her wig is as long as her body is. It is insane looking.
It is.
She's like Blanca.
But I
She looks
literally
like
have
Blanca.
a note that I was like that wig worked because like not like worked like works good for her. Like it worked hard in that match because it stayed on her head.
It was,
and I was like, what?
Like maybe she's not
amazing.
Not that good at wrestling, and like her giant wig sold so much that like I was like
I was like waiting for it to come off.
Yeah, Sasha always used to wear wigs, and whatever weave technique thing that they did with her wigs, I'm sure that's what they're doing with Zelina.
Amazing, like fantastic.
But I don't know why it's the size of like it should be for like a 6'10" man or something.
True.
It was like
that was
way past her butt.
It was an enjoyable match. I liked it.
Yeah, it was a little sloppy at some points, but like definitely the best match I think I've seen Zelina have.
Okay.
She started in the company like as a manager she can do high spots. She can do like Hurricane Ranas and a couple other like cool things. She's not very good at like the in between or telling a story in the ring like that. The real wrestling stuff. So she was like a manager that would like help Andrade out by like jumping in and doing a Hurricane Rana on his opponent when the ref wasn't looking. And that's why when she was a manager, that's why she like talks as well as she does. But this was like showed some promise, I thought.
Yeah.
I'm very happy that Seth Rollins got rid of his super stupid outfits. He still has stupid outfits.
Yeah.
It's just like moderately stupid outfits. And his thing he was wearing here looked like when you're at a gas station and you're looking through the fumes and you get like a weird rainbowy effect like that. It was kind of happening. I did note that like, man, it's kind of crazy that Seth didn't get any pointers from Roman or Moxley, like his boys that are great promos. Cause he's not good. It comes off weird.
Well, it made me wonder. I was like, I forget what they were talking about. They mentioned like, this title shot or whatever, and he wants to be the champion and this, that. And I was thinking like, is this guy really? He's one of the ones that is like,
he was a champ. He was a champ.
And I was like, but I'm like he was it one of those fluky things where he like won something at a pay-per-view and then he got to be
he was a Triple H guy, like and part of the Shield was the biggest faction for a long time. Roman and Ambrose ended up Moxley.
It was like this guy. That was my thought.
It's a lot of people. Me too. Me too.
Okay.
I said Seth really truly believes that he is the coolest guy ever and does not realize that he's actually like more awkward than Don Wiener from Welcome to the Dollhouse. Like when he's trying to be
he
cool,
doesn't
it's
realize
like real
he's the butt of
nerdy
the joke or something.
Yeah. His trying to be sly, like witty, it just comes off as real dorky and uncomfortable. He also says I won't settle for second best. I want the World Heavyweight Championship. That belt is literally the second best because Cody Rhodes has the important belt over on the other show. So like it's second best at best. I don't know why they had 2 world champs. So dumb.
The whole
just make the Intercontinental Championship the big belt on Raw.
Yeah.
You don't have to do stupid ugly toy belts and have like Damian Priest have it and then like Seth Rollins go after it a bunch of times. That's the most boring. I'm like falling asleep.
Too many belts. It's
saying
my
that.
general thought on modern day wrestling across both companies.
Yeah.
Too many belts.
Yeah. I understand what the fuck up was in AEW that caused the giant belt influx. I never believed in, agreed with, or ever will agree with 2 big champs. There's like WrestleMania, like 2 nights that they say main event of night 1. There's 1 main event. It's the last match of the second show. There's 1 champ. It's Cody Rhodes.
It's like we're in like
there can only be
participation trophy.
Like Ric Flair said many a time, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And if you didn't beat Cody Rhodes, you're not the man.
Yeah,
you're the guy with the toy belt.
That's my note to wrestling. Clean up the number of belts.
Yeah, the belts. Yeah, yes. Cut back on a lot of the belts. All the belts on SmackDown, like aesthetically, look very cool. And all the belts on Raw look like dog shit. So I think maybe 2 different designers.
I haven't watched SmackDown yet, so maybe I should check out their belts.
They're cool. Like their tag belts are awesome looking. They look like AEW belts. Like a professional made them instead of a toy company. I said, he must have been getting, Seth must have been getting what chants? Because I said anyone who does a what chant at a wrestling show in 2024 deserves to have the soles of their feet flogged. Dakota Kai, speaking of like Lady Tuckers, she's another one that's like absolutely incredible on the mic, but she just is not improving in the ring.
Yeah.
There's like a big groundswell of support for her because she is super charismatic and she's a great talker, like a great talker.
And how long has she been around?
4 or 5 years. Okay. She was like at NXT for a number of years and then main roster and then out of the company for a while and then back main roster. And she's been in that Damage Catarl. It's Control, but it's Catarl. But she's like a big part of why Damage Catarl gets over is because she talks people into.
Got it.
Like Kairi Sane is in that group too, and she's an incredible wrestler, so that helps too. But like, she's an awesome talker, and she's just not improving.
Yeah.
She always has like 1 or 2 things per match where like she'll like do an Irish whip into the turnbuckle, and then you can see she's like, I don't know if I'm supposed to run and hit or if I'm supposed to like wait for them to come out right now.
That makes sense though, because the other 2 are what was enjoyable about the match. So.
Yes, and the other 2 are good.
Yeah, because I honestly couldn't tell you anything that she did. But
I really want Dakota Kai to get better because she's so good at like talking. Like, and I don't want her just to be a manager.
Right.
She gets all the character stuff too. Like, just practice. Yeah, get some practice in. You and Nia Jax got to get some practice. Nia's different. Nia definitely does not try at all. She says whatever is handed to her in her monotone, stupid voice is a very dangerous worker, almost hurts people all the time, and is only in the company because she's The Rock's cousin.
Cool.
And she is friends with Tamina, who nobody's Mina then. No. My most hated wrestler in history. I hate her more than I hate Vince McMahon. You said
it last week, but I still can't believe
hate her more than I hate Vince McMahon. Tamina.
Wow.
I looked at her cage match, like a website, cagematch.net, some crazy German dude. Every wrestler of all time in any promotion ever, all of their matches and like the results and the times that are listed on there. Tamina has had 1 match in 3 years. She's still under contract. She was signed before CM Punk did the pipe bomb in 2011. And she's still on the roster. but it's not because of The Rock. It's because her dad is Superfly Jimmy Snuka, and Vince had like the blood pact with him after he got him out of the murder charge. That was pretty neat.
That's a one word for it.
I did note, like we've been talking a lot last couple weeks. You know, the biggest thing, the biggest change being women's wrestling in America is just leaps and bounds better. Both companies, not as much in WWE, but like still, it's way better in WWE than it was. There's still a lot of really good wrestlers there. They don't have very many. I realized this today while I was watching, and I'm like, there are a bunch of really good wrestlers in the women's division in WWE, but like almost none of them have a single character trait. Like they have zero personality things. Like give them anything. You're clumsy, or you're kind of a jerk, or like you scheme behind it.
Yeah.
Or you're like you don't trust people. Anything beyond play my music and I will wrestle a pretty good match and then leave. It's almost the entire women's division beyond like Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, like the very top.
Right. I mean, like, I honestly couldn't tell you who was who in that Dakota Kai, Zoe Stark, Ivy Nile match. I don't know who.
Zoe Stark and Ivy Nile may as well be the same person.
Right. And I liked watching them. They did a good job.
Zoe Stark is an excellent prospect too.
But like there weren't.
But I can't tell you one thing about her personality.
Right. And like when we
except that she likes professional wrestling.
When I watched when I watched Dynamite the last 2 weeks, like I knew who all the women were and still remembered who they were. Like know their names, know their faces, and got that down. And here it's like I know Liv, and I know Zelina.
There's like three or four super defined, like well-rounded, multifaceted female characters, and then everyone else has zero, not one personality trait even. Like,
so
it's
I
just
get
like
that.
I try to win. Is that a personality trait? No, it's not a personality trait. Everybody tries to win. It's wrestling. Like, so it's hard to get invested in like the mid card of the women's division in WWE until they give them something.
Yeah, well. You're coming off of decades of women just being TNA on that program, but give it a little time. Hopefully,
they should do better. Like they should do better. The talent is there, so the writers need to do better.
But I mean, like sometimes change is slow, and I feel like it's gonna be a process.
Like you can look at examples on your own fucking show. Like you look at Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, she's
got a zillion things I could tell you about Rhea Ripley. Like a bunch of different personality things. Do that for some of the other people too. They can both be funny. Like you can do that. That's Chelsea Green. She's another great character.
Okay.
So Piper Niven. She's funny. She's super funny. And that's kind of her thing. But that it's like four.
How
it's
much
like four
of that?
women.
How much of that do you think is like they're not like being helped into that, or like is it on them to kind of come up with that?
Chelsea Green's been around a little bit longer. She's actually married to formerly Zack Ryder, who's like now a big time indie wrestler, but. She's more talented at like the acting part of it than almost anybody.
Okay.
So like she's kind of known for like, she's always doing a thing. Even when she's in the background, she's contributing with some big facial stuff, or like she's always very involved, and that's on her. So like she gets credit for that, but you need the writers do need to give a trait. And then
like a crumb,
like to run
something to start with.
In order to run with something, you need the thing handed to you to run with it, and you can't run with I wrestle matches. I did notice today. I don't know why it was only today and not in the last like year or two, because I'm sure this was the case. Rey Mysterio now has exactly the same body as Joe Rogan. They're like same height and build exactly. It may as well have been Joe Rogan under a mask.
I give Ray credit for moving around the way he still does.
Unbelievable.
I was like,
he's still
shocked.
An incredible wrestler.
Yeah,
but he looks exactly like Joe Rogan in a mask.
Does.
Looks like a 50-something-year-old HGH guy.
He kind of looks like your dog Rocky. He's got that same build
of a little bit of HGH,
like stocky
and cycling off
meaty.
Of nandrolone. And it's Flat Earther AJ Styles. He was super beefy like that. Thankfully, he slimmed back down because he's too good a wrestler to be a big, beefy boy. And he is actually, truthfully, a flat earther. Oh. He's a dumbass. I'll tell you what. I want to go for that world title, but I want to go overseas because we might fall off the edge of the earth.
No, I was very, very impressed with Rey Mysterio's agility still.
Are you familiar with the Sami Zayn, Johnny Knoxville stuff?
No.
So Sammy, you remember Sammy? I talked about him a lot last week.
Yeah.
He was a big part of the show today.
A little bit of him.
He's really good. He's like, you got a good example of his promo style and stuff, and he's like very good, fired up babyface. You know what's fun? Like, you have no knowledge of this. When he signed with the WWE, like, they kind of shit on him for like 8 years. Like, he was a big giant loser for like 8 years after he was El Generico and like the most beloved indie wrestler ever. Like, until the Bloodline thing, he was a giant failure. After NXT, good in NXT, and then a giant failure because Vince didn't.
But I could see that he doesn't have the look that Vince is like. Need him to look
now
like this.
He's very clearly like top of the card. He belongs there. He's confident. He's all that. Like, and I forget that like they wasted a decade with him. One, as a bad guy for some reason, and two, like having him lose every feud he was in.
The funny part being like he doesn't have the look, but like the guys that don't have the look are my favorite guys.
Yeah, absolutely. like you said, Bryan Danielson.
Yes, exactly.
I love Kevin Owens. Is Sammy's best buddy. He's like a portly, tough guy.
Love those guys.
See, like in a bar somewhere or something. With his vague French Canadian accent.
And like I don't get it. And then Braun Breaker.
Before we get to Braun Breaker, though, are you familiar with the Johnny Knoxville Sami Zayn?
No. Yeah, fill me in.
So like 3 WrestleManias ago, because Sammy was like a joke to Vince, but he always made the most out of what he was given. He had a match against the Johnny Knoxville and all the Jackass guys. Okay. And it was like a Jackass match. He lost by getting pinned with a giant mousetrap. Like, it was really funny. It was a really funny thing. It was like the best part of it back when WrestleMania still kind of sucked ass.
Yeah.
That was like a high point.
Yeah.
Because it was fun, and Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville. Well, Johnny Knoxville has not given up the bit. So he like stalks Sami Zayn and then posts stuff on Twitter all the time. Sami Zayn has a comedy show. He's doing like what Mick Foley did. He's got a comedy show with like some friends that he's doing a little mini tour.
Yeah.
And like he's posting stuff on social media, and then like Johnny Knoxville will have pictures, like they're in different cities, of pictures like Sammy will be photographed, taking a photograph of a thing for him to post. Like, this is where we're going to be for our, and then like Johnny Knoxville will post a picture of Sammy from way behind and like 200 yards away. Like, it's nonstop. Sammy's like responding like, what the fuck is going on? I haven't talked to him in a long time. Yeah. Like, that was an angle. I don't know what's going on. This is like some Andy Kaufman shit or what?
That's what I was just going to say.
Braun Breaker is just such a stupid name.
I hate it.
That it ruins. It just doesn't just ruin him. It ruins the promos for the people that are saying promos when they say, because then Sami Zayn has to say Braun Breaker, and I'm like, that's a stupid thing you just said, Sammy.
It is. I hate it so much.
He's a member of one of the most famous wrestling families in history, and they changed his name to like a Sonic the Hedgehog character or something, or a cartoon. Braun Breaker, I don't know. Like, that would be too like it wouldn't even fit Wreck-It Ralph. Like,
maybe he likes it because I was trying to give him benefit of the doubt, and I was like, maybe if they like retconned. And
if he's like his dad and his uncle.
But then I saw his tattoo on his arm, and I was like, he likes that name.
He's definitely really dumb.
Yeah.
I do like that, like, when he gets excited, he starts, because I want him to morph over the years.
Yeah.
When he gets excited, he starts talking like the big bad booty daddy a little bit. A little big Papa Pump starts to come out. And because he sounds like Rick when he talking normal, but he gets fired up. It's like, oh, you might go crazy like your uncle did. That would be great. Did you ever see the Steiner Maths promo?
No.
Okay, well, as soon as we're done recording, I'm going to show you. Okay. It's the most famous promo of all time. Oh, MJF actually did it verbatim last year. It's simultaneously the best and worst promo anybody's ever cut. Scott Steiner. Everybody that's listening knows.
And maybe I do know. Maybe
it might. I don't think it made the internet rounds until after you were.
Okay.
It was like he was in TNA at the time with P.D. Williams, and like this guy that like looked exactly like him, but he was a little steroid guy with blonde hair and a chainmail thing that he wore, just like big bad booty daddy. God. So I'm hoping the Bron Breakker, like 2032 or something, dyes his hair blonde and gets like so swole that he can't do wrestling moves anymore. Did you ever see Scott Steiner like when he was young in WCW?
I don't know.
It's like one of the best wrestlers has ever lived. He invented the Frankensteiner, like the Hurricane Rana.
Yeah,
he was the first guy to ever do it, and he was like 280 pounds.
Oh,
absolutely incredible wrestler. Until he decided that he was going to do every steroid.
Until he decided he didn't want to be able to wipe his own ass anymore?
And then, like, you can't do awesome moves anymore when you... Flexibility is like a He-Man character. Like, Braun is good in the ring. He is like...
I know you said that.
He is. He hits hard. I mean, you saw him do the spear.
Yeah.
It's a bummer that Sammy's definitely going to lose the Intercontinental title to him because he came out on top here.
Yeah.
So he's definitely losing to Braun. I mean, he's popular and he has a lot of potential.
Can USA use the censorship on the name? Every time they're going to say his name, if they can just bleep it, then maybe I would be okay with it.
Also, I don't know who his spray tan guy is, but it pools around his eyes. Weirdly. It's way too orange. It's more orange than MJF, which is saying something.
Yeah.
And it pools around his eyes. Like, it's really strange looking.
Yeah. All I know
looked like somebody put like caked on makeup on his face or something.
My son was watching it with me, and he said, "What the hell is that shirt that he's wearing?" And then I couldn't not notice the weird shirt. And then he ripped the shirt off because, of course, he ripped the shirt off.
Yeah, because he's big dumb Steiner guy.
Because he's Bron Breakker with.
Oh, well, that actually was my favorite. The wolf thing is from a part of his career that I enjoyed.
Which you told me about.
The wolf dogs.
That.
It was funny. He's funny when he's given that, but I'm not interested in angry Bron Breakker.
No.
It's a dumb name. At least do funny stuff with it. Like, I don't know why. Everyone knows he's Rick Steiner's son. They talk about it. He sounds exactly like a combination of both his uncle and dad. Like two of the most famous wrestlers ever.
Maybe he thinks that this name is his way of forging his own path.
Vince forced it on him because that's what he did with everybody. He gave him stupid names.
Yeah.
He ruined Dolph Ziggler's career by calling him Dolph Ziggler. It's like one of the most talented guys you had on the roster, and he gave him the stupidest name ever. And nobody ever took him seriously because he called him Dolph Ziggler.
Well, I can tell you, I don't take Bron seriously.
No. Bron, too. Just Bron?
Yeah.
Is he the king in Game of Thrones or something? The fuck? He's British aristocracy, and his last name is Breaker. Breaker 19er.
So bad. It's so bad.
I cannot emphasize enough. Like, he's very talented. They always talk about he runs the ropes at like 25 miles an hour, which he actually does. It's like almost as impressive as like Takeshita.
It makes me madder about his name.
Not as big as Takeshita, but
that makes it worse.
Yeah, I mean the Steiners had a great career, and they were super dumb too. So maybe he'll just have a Steiner career.
Double K too. It's just
it's dumb on every level. It's like weirdly German looking because of the 2Ks. I don't know why.
It's like when everything in the 90s was extreme. It's given me that feeling. Yeah. But we're not in the 90s.
His real name is Rick Steiner.
Yeah.
Just call yourself Rick Steiner Jr.
Yeah.
You can be a guy that breaks stuff without your name being Breaker.
Literally anything.
It doesn't have to be Breaker.
You don't even have to be Steiner. You can.
It's like naming I'm Johnny wrestling match winner.
It's like I said. It's like
I'm Dave Dropkick.
Like I'm Slab Puncher.
Dave Dropkicker.
It's just it's so bad. I just hate it so
I'm
much.
Juan Eye Spitter.
It's the worst.
Yeah. But when he gets excited, he sounds like Big Bad Booty Daddy, and that made me very happy.
Just do the thing where you just change it and don't explain anything. He's just a different name now, and it'll be a good match too with Sammy because Sammy has good matches with everybody, and Braun is talented.
repackaging, I think, is
please.
They're not gonna, because they're pushing him super heavy and he's over. Like the crowd is into him or whatever, but the WWE crowd, they like Ryback too. And that guy might be the dumbest human being that's ever walked the earth. Ryback recently, he put a poll up on his Twitter. He's trying to orchestrate a comeback.
Okay.
And his poll question was, what would you rather see me do? TNA, WWE, AEW, or retire? He put retire on. So of fucking course, 90% of people are clicking retire because you put retire on.
Because if Bodie McVoteface is the option, that's what's going to get picked.
Yeah. That's stupid man.
Yeah.
I heard Bryan Danielson and Cody Rhodes used to tell stories about they would travel the road with what's his face, Ryback, and they had so many stories about how incomprehensibly dumb he was. They took him to Panera Bread, and Danielson said he stood in front of the counter at Panera Bread with a blank look on his face for 15 full minutes, and then just is like, do you got chicken breasts? What do I do? So Braun is probably smarter than Ryback then, at least, I guess. I think Braun could probably order a sandwich.
Just not about name picking.
No, it wasn't his pick. Yeah. I do think you're right. I think he's into it now. Even if he says he's not, he's kind of into it.
Yeah.
Well, after this, though, it was the main event of the evening, which I thought was a very, very good match. Very enjoyable, slappy, smacky, hard-hitting, and also involved my crush, Ilya Dragunov.
It did. I was excited that I got to see.
Got you around your waist. I fight in an unconventional way, and my muscles look like the muscles of an athlete, not of a bodybuilder.
Also, though, to throw it way back earlier in the broadcast, though, but it was Drew McIntyre. I did get a chuckle out of the shirt he was wearing. Yeah. The DM Hunk shirt. I was like, that's really funny.
He's super funny. He's a super funny dude. He's incredible on the socials as well.
But he's way too tan for a Scotsman.
Him and Punk is my favorite thing when they do it. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. Punk seemed like he was healthy, and and they wrote him off.
It definitely gave me a laugh when I saw the shirt. I was like, I gotta remember that. That was funny. I enjoyed that.
He's good. He's very good. And he's a very good wrestler too, and was evidenced by this match.
It was a good match.
I was a little worried a few months ago. Sheamus came back from a 6-month hiatus due to injury, and he was super fast and couldn't wrestle. And I was worried that he was done, because I kind of grew to really like Sheamus.
He's been around a super long time. Right? Okay, because I was like, I think I know this dude.
He was Daniel Bryan's first big feud at WrestleMania.
Okay, this is ringing bells for me then.
He used to come out to, it's a shameful thing, lobster head. I don't know what the real words are, but everybody always used to say it was lobster head. But he's good hoss guy.
Yeah.
Actually, what I think got him back into shape was Drew cut a promo on him. So Sheamus's thing was, I have all my matches are bangers. I have a banger after banger after banger. And Drew was like, looks like since you've been out, it's been burger after burger after burger. And then he immediately got abs.
That's funny.
So I knew Ilya was not going to win, but I was glad he got some shine.
Yeah.
He looked good.
Yeah, he was to me, who didn't know, it was like an add-on. He was an and also in that match.
Yeah, because it's the two big beefy boys, and then the new NXT call-up, who I think is going to be the biggest star of them all, but not yet. I think he's the best wrestler of the three, but Drew's a good wrestler too.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed the match. It was fun.
Yeah, I thought Raw was pretty decent.
That was fun.
Until the few complaints that are just more.
Until I watch enough to think otherwise, Raw's still fun to me.
They should tag team Special Needs Jey Uso and Braun Breaker. As the dumb guy, have him get into hijinks and stuff. Going the wrong way down the expressway and stuff.
They could keep Braun Breaker as the name, but just kind of pivot and lean into how fucking dumb the name is and how it's like
they didn't do it literally, but him doing a goofball thing in NXT, it felt like that kind of like he was in on it more.
Yeah, that's what they should be doing with. Let's do that.
Or just call him by his name, which is a super famous wrestling.
But that's a way they can keep the name, but then make it into something funny.
Yeah. I mean, it is funny. Yeah. Like already, it's funny. It's weirdly German extra K's, breaker, one-liner. It's so stupid. It's almost as stupid as Yeet or Day One-ish.
Yeah, they're about on the same playing.
But
field.
still, they're fun episode of Raw.
I like Raw.
We got Money in the Bank. I'm pretty sure Jey Uso is going to win, which is.
I wish I hadn't noticed how little actual wrestling happens on Raw, because now I think I'm gonna like focus on that. But
there are episodes where there are like one-offs where they'll have like 6 matches or something. Okay. But most of the time it's a lot of.
Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's to give them a break without giving them a break. I don't know.
No, it's because they think their fans are super dumb, and then they have to like. They did a thing right before when Rhea Ripley got hurt and she cut her promo. She came out at the open Raw and cut a 5-minute promo talking about how she was hurt. And then they went to commercial break. And they came back from commercial break and they showed the replay of her promo she just cut before the commercial.
They did. Yes, they did.
So like that's the level that they are. They still think their fans are real dumb.
I did like the memorial segment they did. That was kind of nice and touching.
Yeah.
And like that was cool. I also liked the thing where they kind of talked about like Triple H, Paul trying to like come up with good stuff.
Yeah.
And how the pressure is on.
Yeah.
And I liked it. And it reminded me that like I really liked Triple H. I don't know if I like him now.
I really hope he wasn't in the room.
That's the thing.
Because he was working real close.
I really
he had to know
him.
too.
And now there's like that taint. No, I guess it's a bad, poor choice of words. There's like that.
So taint was put places. Sure.
Yeah. There's that like that. It's tarnished because like
I wish I knew one way or the other, just for sure.
Into the family he had.
Yeah, but like Stephanie still is beloved. Everybody says that she's the one that really likes still, and like she was always cool with talent. Yeah. And do you know the Macho Man story?
I don't know.
The reason why Macho Man Randy Savage is the only like legend that never came back to WWF or E. Like he brought Vince brought like Hitman Hart back and Ultimate Warrior, and the rumor is because Macho Man, and total rumor, no, I have no proof of this, but it is a big rumor that is repeated quite a bit. Rumor is that Macho Man had sex with the 15 or 16-year-old Stephanie McMahon.
No.
And that's why he was never brought back.
Oh, no.
It was the only thing Vince would forgive.
What? 15 or 16-year-old would look at Macho Man and be like, that's the guy for me.
I mean, Vince McMahon's your dad. You're probably pretty fucked up.
That's true. That's really true.
So,
But anyway, my point on that one was, like that little segment made me like, I love Triple H still, I think. But it's hard because I don't know if I do.
I have a love-hate relationship with him. He's improved a ton of stuff. I think he's had great matches. I think everything he does, including his wrestling and the stuff he writes, takes way too long.
Yeah.
The matches he books are 28 minutes long.
Yeah.
The matches he wrestles in back in the day were 30 minutes long. Every story takes 9 months. It's better than the Vince, not because that was just nonsense from a crazy person.
Right.
But it all just takes too long.
Yeah.
It's not that bad a thing. I just hope he wasn't in on bad stuff.
Yeah.
And he, like, the wrestlers, the workers all love him.
Yeah.
So like, I'm rooting for him.
Yeah.
Like, he just doesn't do things the way that I enjoy. It just takes too long.
And maybe if he pivots enough away from Vincey stuff, like that's, even if he was like kind of roped into that, like change it. Like you be the change that is.
Well, it does seem like he has been a big part of that, like the cultural change.
Yeah.
The stuff taking too long, that is a Triple H thing.
Yeah.
That's not a Vince thing. That is, remember his, like, even his matches back in the day
Yes,
were
I
like,
do remember.
They were great matches that went 10 minutes too long.
Yeah.
Like all of them. And he couldn't use a sledgehammer properly. hold the
Oh yeah.
end of it instead of swinging it like a hammer.
Like you would use it.
Yeah.
Instead of doing
Just
the thing that you should
do
just
it,
inherently know how
get
to
a fake sledgehammer. You don't have to use a real one. Like,
Yeah.
or get a different weapon.
Yeah.
Because you just break your hand if you did that
That's true.
stupid thing he did. But it spawned probably MJF's new heel character. So I'm in. I'm back in. Yeah. Triple H. See, so what do you think? You think you're interested in keeping a streak going here, or you want to take a couple weeks off, or what are your thoughts?
I'm in.
You want to keep it rolling?
I'm all in.
All in?
As they say in the wrestling world.
Sweet. All right. So then I will put together a bunch of video things for you, like the stuff that we talked about. I'll show you the Steiner maths as soon as I sign off here, but I'll put together some of the Roman stuff and everything.
Yeah, definitely.
And awesome. So everybody, that was your Raw Blue Thunder Pod. If you have not already checked out the AEW iteration, please go do so. You can get us on our socials, Twitter at Blue Thunder Pod, YouTube, The Blue Thunder Pod, TikTok, Blue Thunder Pod, and all the above, BlueThunderPod.com. Thanks for joining us. Hope to see you again next week. Bye-bye, everybody.